that now's the time.
Now is the time.
Christine has been an employee here for quite a few years, and
My turn on. Yeah, I didn't know you were even talking. Hang on, stop.
Okay.
Oh, it's too quiet.
That's all right, we'll make noise.
All right.
Anyway, she has also done a lot of the decorating here. She's really talented. If you come in and just see, put the plants around, put just little things around. This is Christine, and I didn't realize that she also did all this other type of work. And I think she will explain all about that. But it's just really delightful to have her here and sharing her work with us, and she's going to tell us a little bit about it.
Thank you,
Christine
Lucille.
Louise.
Thank you very much. Well, my other name is Christine Lavender Love. You know that.
Go.
Lights,
No.
camera, action.
No, that's not what I'm waiting for.
Oh, I don't know what you're waiting for.
What do you think? I want to hear what you think
Of what?
about it.
They're lovely.
It's fun.
They're bright and have a lot of motion.
Cheerful.
If you're not gonna sell them, if you make them into note cards, they'll buy it back. You gotta spread them out, share them with people.
I think gift wrapping paper would be awesome.
You're way too practical. So I guess I should explain to you about my work, because it's really not about the artifact. You know what I'm saying? It's not about the paintings. It's about the painting. It's about the process of creating, you know, the stuff. And I can tell you, yeah, they're pretty, they're bright, they're colorful, they're quite beautiful. But what I went through to produce these wasn't. You know, this was like, how do I say, major work on the inside, on the interior. I was working out a lot of stuff, as you can maybe see, and I don't really want to, you know, like, point to them and tell you what was going on. Some of them I simply can't remember. It was so much. You know, this happened, all of this and more happened in a period between like 1996 and 2001 or 2. And those were hard years. I was working out a lot of things. I had quite an opening go on in my life when I was 25 in the mid-80s. I had just got shattered. My inner being just got shattered. And so I kind of had to, you know, cope with that. That made me sort of not interested in the things that typical 25-year-olds are interested in, like, you know, marriage and partners and career. And I sort of tried to limp along in the modern world, figuring it out, but my inner being was definitely on a different kind of track. And so a lot of this was trying to work out how to bring various aspects of myself that were awake and wanted expression into integration and into expression. So,
Did it work? Did it help?
oh yeah, I worked a lot of things out.
It was like a journey.
Worked a lot of things out. Oh yeah, it was a journey. And in fact, I kind of like to uproot us all and take us into the other room, because all the star paintings are in the other room. And you know, I've been on quite a journey. But, I almost don't know how to talk about it, you know. It's like, because I don't know where you all are with your being the bridge between earth and sky. These are very shamanic paintings. I mean, I was shoved into shamanic reality. Okay, are you getting that? It's like I got shoved there. And when you're shoved into that kind of state, it's like you gotta try to make sense of, you know, who you are, how you relate to it all. What is it? So I went through a lot of, you know, changes of who I am and how I relate to the world. And then my art form all changed. It was so cool. It all totally changed. It went from painting, and I was a painter for years. I mean, that was kind of like my standard art form. That and ice skating. I was a skater growing up. So I've always had body movement in my life. So, you know, I painted for years, and then I got onto this really intense painting track, and then I discovered belly dancing. I got with some friends who took on belly dancing, and I took it on too, and it was like, oh, I'm a belly dancer. You know, and it's like, it isn't that you do belly dance. It hit me at the level of, I am a belly dancer. It's like, that's a life. That's a lifestyle, you know. And so I went into that for some years. I can't remember now even how many years.
And that after you moved up here?
Oh yeah, this was all after I was up here. Yeah, this all happened up here in Mount Ranch, place where I live right now. But when belly dancing hit, I mean, that was just so cool. That was, you know, the dance, the costuming, that's what these are. These are dance belts.
Oh.
The music, the drumming, I took up drumming, percussion, and just love it. Just love it. And then that all crashed. And I tell you what, one of my studios, I had at that time 2 art studios. Now it's just all one big room, but I was a mad belly dancer in there for a lot of years. It's like I would go in there and it's like, this is a bardo. There's bad energy in here. I don't want to be in here. And sometimes I would start to cry. Like I would see my friends performing, and I would sometimes have to leave the performance, or because I would be bursting into tears. The belly, you know, it's like I wanted to be doing this, but
You know why?
Yeah, why?
you can't
Belly
make,
dancing sounds like a upper.
I can't make it come around again to be my viable art form. I wish I could. You know, I wish I was in control of it, but I'm not. It's like something in me is dictating the flow of my creative expression. And it's like, you go with it or you don't, you know? And if that form, it's like the universe said, oh, okay, you're quite proficient in that, very good. Let's go on to something else and develop that for a while. And so that's what happened.
But you've been painting a long time.
Well, I'm talking about the dance now. Yeah, the painting did that too. The painting crashed, but I got something, you know, really nice to fill it up.
But you always went back to it.
What, painting? You know, painting, I have not exactly gone back to painting, but I tell you what, visual art has surfaced in my life in very practical ways. And so like right now, I use it extensively here because, you know, I make all the flyers and, you know, do a lot of visual art on the website and Facebook and all that. So when my visual art skills are engaged practically, I don't do anything with my painting. And I must say, I'm not working these kinds of things out anymore. I've gone on to other things.
But
So-
you're still painting.
No, I'm not painting. No, I haven't painted for many years.
I bet you
So, no, so it's like painting crashed, and then belly dancing and all that came up, and so I went with that for a long time, and that crashed. It was very difficult. And, but other things came and kind of filled up the void.
So where are you now?
Well, one of the things that came at the end of belly dancing was herbalism, because I needed to change from organic farming into something I was more interested in. Not that I'm not interested in organic farming, but you know, you can't do it with one person. And I'm very interested in plant medicine, and so that takes a lot of my focus, you know.
But you're doing a lot of things with herbs and plants.
Yeah,
and
yeah, the plant medicine, that's a huge focus. That's
because
very
you teach
creative.
these classes
I teach
here.
classes, and I make stuff, and I give stuff away, and just, you know, try to promote it wherever, however I can. And the other thing that came up when kind of belly dancing ended was, I don't quite know how to describe this. I got into this situation on my land where I got these neighbors. They moved right next to me. And when I say right next to me, they're like a quarter mile down the road, so you know, like a little buffer. But they're kooks, you know, and they made all this terrible trouble on my road, and they still continue to do so. And so I went into extreme shamanic warrior mode and had to learn all kinds of things to deal with these people, because I realized I was dealing with, yeah, you can just leave. I realized I was dealing with the invisible hand of darkness, that I was not just dealing with, you know, a kooky family. It's like there are forces here. There are invisible negative forces that are working with these people, and it's driving this situation. And so I spent a lot of years kind of processing all that, and I studied the teachings of the Nawalda Lama Tus, who was Carlos Castaneda's teacher. I studied that for really intensely for a long time. And got pretty trained in some shamanic arts, got pretty connected with the animal kingdom, including a mountain lion, and a possum and a skunk and a bunch of deer and a bunch of turkeys, and it's like I just, go out there and relate to everything and relate to all the animals, and pretty soon they're coming in my house.
The mountain lion?
He comes around, yeah, he comes around, and I talk to him, and, he poops and he scratches, and, yeah, he's got a scratching post like, kind of right outside my, little ways outside my gate, and he walks through, and so that really filled up, kind of a big void. Oh, and drumming, and I realized I simply can't live without some kind of something of the dance, and so I joined the Sonora Drum Circle 2 years ago. And ended up also joining a percussion band that plays for dancers. And so I was going to Sonora twice a week. And then last year my car just went through this whole stupid crap, and I had to drop both groups, and I felt like I was in exile. It was terrible. So I invited the Sonora Drum Circle to come play today. So oh, and while we're on the subject of, kind of like dance and whatever, I thought I would show you how you use these thingies. So I'm going to walk over here.
You made these while you were belly dancing.
These are belly dance, yeah, they're belly dance hip scarves. And I'll just show you a couple of different ways. I've got them all kind of, rigged up there, so I don't want to take those down, but here's sort of, not a very fancy one, it's more tribal. So you would wear this, you would wear it like this. So the beauty with tassels is if you're skinny, you're not one of these voluptuous ones, you got a lot of things that move with tassels. So you can make a really nice, kind of ensemble just by a plain scarf. So here's just a basic, simple scarf. You tie it like this. Okay. There you go. I'll do that.
Crucial to get that scarf at the right spot on your head.
That's right. It can't be too high. And so then I made all these tassels, and tassels are really easy to make. You buy yarn at thrift stores. Yeah, look at that. These are kind of like my goatee kinds of yarn. So put them on. I'm going to have to straighten them out a little bit. So they're doing it right. Tie on. Okay. Get them just right. Yeah, look at that.
You need to do that.
Yeah. So that's what you do with these. So I'm going to wear this later with the Sonora Drum Circle. So what else? Do you want to hear about the sticks? We haven't talked about the sticks at all. Okay, I'll tell you about the sticks, and then we'll go back to having a party. Okay, so imagine our community is under siege, right? And we who love our community and see fit to protect it need to, make a stand and make a presence. And so, dress for success, right? I have outfits that match this stuff. So imagine we all show up in our sacred garb with our sacred sticks. What are our attackers going to do? They're going to run like hell. Yeah, so these are priestess staffs, like a stick of empowerment. So if I want to have a ceremony of some sort, and I want to, depending what kind of mood I am, what aspect is coming through, I would choose one of these and I would hold it. Or I would choose one of my swords. That's my priestess sword up there, that one. That's a dance sword. That's for a different purpose, but that's a priestess sword.
You do this when you're alone or only when other people are there? So it's like a ceremony type.
I do ceremony alone.
Ceremony.
Alone. I do it alone. I have done it with other people. I've worked with a group. And in fact, I'm an ordained high priestess. I have been ordained by Joanna Ottman, who is an ordained high priestess. And she was ordained by Z Budapest. You know who that is. Z is a very famous high priestess. And Joanna studied with her many years ago and took on the mantle and has continued to ordain women and initiate women. And so I was one of her people who studied with her. And so that's why I made this staff.
Do you find these staff out in nature?
This one I found out on the Tuolumne River, and this one, Hoagie Davis gave me this stick. He got it for me because he knew I was into cats. I put the tooth on it. It's my bossed staff. My priestess name is Iris Bostinana. And so Bast is one of my names, Bast is one of my aspects, and if you know who Bast is an Egyptian cat-headed goddess. And there's quite a pantheon of lion beings out there in the universe. They're very interesting to me. I'm very connected to them. I talk to them. I talk to the lion ancestors. My stellar genealogy is very lion. I don't know if that makes any sense to any of you, but we've got like kind of predominant stellar genes, like there's reptilian genes, there's lion genes, and there's bird genes, and those are very, very common ancestral DNA in us as our
That
makeup.
sounds very Chinese.
So, well, it's coming from a lot of different cultures, but I'm one of those lion people. So that's why I have such good rapport with these creatures, these cats and my mountain lion. And so,
When we came to your house for the garden group, you were enjoying a mountain lion. Is it the same one?
yes, I'm one.
It is.
Yes,
I think that's the same one that I saw across the street. No?
crawling with them out here.
Oh, so it's hard to tell which one it was, huh?
You know, there's at least two in my neighborhood.
Well, that was pretty much
So-
in your neighborhood.
No, that's too far down. That's a different one. No, it's crawling with them out here. I had no idea, you know, until I started seeing and paying attention to like signs, and you know, I had no idea how many there are, and just like how elusive they are. They're around.
What signs did you see?
Oh, I see
Besides the
hooves,
scat.
I see
Besides
spread,
scat.
I see footprints, I hear him, I talk to him. It's like, no, they're totally
What
around.
do
I
they sound like?
Yeah.
Not a meow?
Wow.
If you hear
I
that,
heard
that's not
that.
right.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
is
not
that-
right.
is
So
that
you
something
talk
like
back,
that?
so I talk back to him, you know, I hear that, and I just, you know,
I heard that. I thought
Yeah.
it was something else.
I thought that was
you
a
know,
dog.
you're saying the dog. You know, the mountain lion and the fox, the mountain lion and the fox sound very similar. The fox is like, it's like a dry cough.
Yeah.
And the mountain lion is a little more catty, you know, and yowly.
Yeah, the dog.
And if you hear one,
Mountain lion
at close,
around.
yeah, if you hear one at close range, sometimes what they do at the end of their is they have a really high-pitched whine sound, like a dog will go, you know. I've heard that a bunch of times. Yeah, but you got to hear it at close range. If you hear it in the distance, you won't hear it. And I don't know exactly what that is, but I think that's when they're kind of really talking to each other at close range that they do that. That's really a sound for them.
They also do a scream, where it almost sounds like a person.
Well, that's how
Well, no, it's a different kind of scream that I've heard.
Okay. It's like a person in
It's
distress.
like a woman or a person, yeah, screaming, kind of odd.
Yeah, it's throaty. It's catty. It's
Well, that's
yowly.
nice.
Do it, Vita.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I can do that one, but I can't do that.
Oh, the other high one. Sorry.
Poor dog.
You really upset his aura.
Yeah.
His or her?
He thinks there's an outline in here.
Yeah.
He's gotta come and protect us.
Yeah, he's doing his job.
But they are around because I went to a presentation about mountain lions, and in this one area in Southern California, they radio collared the lions, and the results were so astounding.
Where they found him? Yeah,
They-
how
at
close
night,
they were.
Because they're active at night. They were going into golf courses,
Yeah.
the backyards of suburban, not like here, but like very densely populated suburban areas in Southern California. They were literally part of the whole network or neighborhood down there, but people didn't know. And then sometimes they would be trapped, that they didn't get out of an area by dawn. They would sleep under the bushes in somebody's backyard. They would just hunker down there during the day and wait until the light.
Otherwise, that's
And that's why I say,
Yeah.
we have no idea how around and how many there are. It's crawling with
They
them.
can make themselves invisible.
Invisible. They blend right into the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're so elusive. And you know, they're cats. You have to remember this. They're cats. They're curious. You know how I met my lion? Sherry does. He followed me when I was walking in the woods. He was behind me, and I was way into the manzanita. I was into like a big spiral, and on this trail where nobody would find. yeah, and I turned around, I couldn't go any further, and I turned around, and there it was. And they were looking at me, and it's like, that's how we met.